What's up, everybody? It's Stephen Williams, founder and president of the creditrepairshop.com, here with another video today where I'm going to talk about what you can do about getting out of debt and debt collections because they are selling more debt. It used to be where I would get it monthly on a monthly basis. Now I'm getting the accounts that they're selling on a weekly basis. The dollar amounts are increasing because where one bank may had been uh, putting out selling $1 million worth of charge offs in a month. Now they're selling $1 million worth of charge offs in a week. That's right, $1 million in charge offs in a week. So I'm gonna go over the list first, and then I'm gonna talk about some things that I think will help you. These are things that I do to help myself on a daily basis, and it's going to help you be able to move forward. There's a lot of stuff online, and I think what it's doing is it's keeping people stuck. People are not really progressing forward. They think they are because they're watching things that maybe make them feel good, but it's not really giving them any actionable steps, which is what I'm all about, is giving you things that you could do to take action and then to see the results of those actions come back. So let's first get started. We got Wells Fargo, small account here for this week, but it's $149,000. We have some mixed credit cards accounts, $1.3 million. We have another mixed credit card, $999,000. Another group of mixed credit cards, $1 million total. And then we have some small department store cards, only for the week, $526,000. And we have another batch of mixed credit cards, 499,000. Some more mixed credit cards. These are all credit cards this week. 748,000. That matches with what they were saying about most people are behind on their credit cards because they're using the money that they're using their credit cards to pay for regular expenses to maintain their household, and then they try to play catch up throughout the month. Um, there's another batch of credit cards, 900. Well, I think I mentioned this one, 999,000. No, this is a different one. It wasn't from that same one that was mentioned over there. 999,000, and then here's another one, 999,000, and this all of these have different amounts at the end. So these are not the same accounts that was mentioned earlier. Statute of limitations. Statute of limitations. This group here, charge off date was 2006. Come on, guys. Come on. 2006 for all of these. 2006. These are all past statute of limitations. All past statute of limitations on that one. Let's see this one here. Statute of limitations. This one had, these are all past statute of limitations. I'm not going to rip this one out because my notes are on this one. All past statute of limitations. This one here, not past statute of limitations. The $526,000 with small department stores, not past statute of limitations on that group. Okay, now let's talk about looking at where you're at with your situation. When you get the paperwork in the mail, it's going to be like a bill. Pay close attention to it because if you look at it, it's going to be like at the top, it's going to be a bill. It's going to identify who was the original creditor, and it's going to identify that they own it, and it's going to have the amount of the bill. But if you read below, there's always like a little paragraph below there where they're going to be asking you if you believe that this is not your debt, or for any reason, if you want to dispute this debt, you have 30 days to do it. That's what you need to be prepared to do. You can't disregard it. Even if you know that it's past statute of limitations, you need to take action on uh, on telling them that it is past statute of limitations. Let me back up real quick. If you receive a debt, a bill in the mail, or a validation request from a debt collector about a debt that you know was charged off more than for my state, it's 6 years, and then you could check your state for statute of limitations. If you know that it's past that time frame for your state, and you can go on my website, thecreditrepairshop.com, to see the statute of limitations. Just go in the search, go to my blog and type in the search bar statute of limitations, and then that page will pop up for your, and you can look for your state. If you know that it's past statute of limitations, you don't disregard it. You have to be proactive and send them a letter and say that this debt is past statute of limitations for my state, and please cease and desist collection action, or I will file a complaint with my state attorney general's office. If you do that, it will go away if you know that it's past statute of limitations. If you get a call and you know it's past statute of limitation, you need to say that to them and then ask them to send that in writing so you can send that back to them in writing. Don't make any payments. Don't say that you believe the debt is yours. Even if you think even if it is past statute of limitations, be very careful with what you do on the phone. It would probably be best, because you're not a professional at this. It would be best to say, I do not know what you're talking about. Please send it to me in writing, exactly what you're talking about this specific debt, and then leave it at that. Let them send it to you in writing, and then make the response, because you could actually walk your way into a debt by them trying to scare you, and they use various scare tactics to get people to reauthorize the debt. And what I mean by that is, they can get you to make a payment of $10, and they'll scare you and say, well, we're gonna mess up your credit, or we're gonna file a lawsuit, or we're gonna do this, mess up your job. All these different threats, which, when you're at home and you got kids and you're paying bills and you've worked hard to get your credit to a certain level, when you hear things like this, it sends a disruption in your body, and it can get you off balance, which is the job that they try to do, is to get you off balance, to get you to make decisions that you probably would not make if you were balanced. When I say balance, that means that in the right frame of mind. Being in the right frame of mind is understanding everything that is being said to you on both sides. You hear what they say, but you don't know if it's true about what they could do to you when they say it. That's why a lot of people fall into traps. If they say, well, we're going to sue you, we're going to get you arrested, we're going to send the police to your house, and they're going to arrest you over this. A lot of people, they fall for that, and we see it every day. And you may be thinking you won't fall for it, but you may not know what tactic you could fall for. Yeah, we all have a different level of awareness, but there's always some type of tactic that someone could try to play on a person to get them to respond. And no, the majority of people do not respond, but some people, depending on the situation, depending on their state of mind, depending on how much they believe the person on the phone, can end up being trapped and do something that they would not normally do, and then end up reauthorizing the debt, which will set it up legally for another 7 years on the credit reports, and then whatever your statute of limitations is for your state. So do not make any payments. So when you get that letter, respond back if you know that it's past the statute of limitations date for written contract laws in your state. Send it back. Don't go back and forth about the debt or anything. Just state your case that it's past statute of limitations. If they somehow get you into court, then you do the same thing. You tell the judge that, and they will go off of the law. Trust me, they will. They will not let a debt that is past statute of limitations and there's and it's in the state that you're in if you use that argument. What usually happens to make something happen that it should not be is that they get in front of one of these asshole judges that will be too much pro business and set it up the circumstances for you not to be able to argue your point on that it's past statute of limitations. They'll come up with some type of moral uh, reason behind it. They and just think about it. You go into court, they make you raise your right hand that you're gonna tell the truth and all of this stuff, and or you're just when you go in front of a judge, you have that automatic impression on your body because everybody that we see that go to court seems to be sworn in, even if they don't swear you in when you come across the line. You have that feeling that you've been sworn in, and so you're going to think that I have a moral obligation to pay these people when you don't have a moral obligation to pay these people. So now I want to kind of, when I say what I had just said in the beginning of the video or up to now, what that's to sum that up, what that is understanding where you're at now. When I look at problems that I've had in the past, or when I talk to people about their credit repair situation, one of the things that I try to make them understand is understand where you are at now. Because a lot of people, what they do is when something comes up, it's like they fall back into where they were at when that happened. When their life has probably progressed a little bit, or their life had maybe even got worse. But what they do is they progress. They digress or regress backwards, and into where they believe that they have no power to do anything about what is happening to them. It's like they're just reactive. When this happens, they react to it. That happens, they react to it, and they don't take any proaction. They're not proactive about the situation. They're not proactive about their life. They're not proactive about doing something about what is in front of them, and then being proactive about doing the right thing for what's in front of them. And the only way you can do that is to understand where you're at, understand what can be done, the different alternatives that you have available to you, and doing something about it. What I see a lot of people do is they lock in on one idea, and when, like, for instance, everybody's talking about Section 609. I had a call from a guy that talked about Section 609 yesterday. This is true story. Called me. I was off yesterday. I just answered my phone. Hey, somebody's calling. And it was a guy that I talked to and kind of went back and forth with last year about Section 609. And he was like, I got these medical bills and Section 609, this and that. And I was like, okay, Section 609, you have a right to validate all of those medical bills and everything. But if they come back validated, you need to be prepared to do something about it. I told him that a year ago. And I said, don't come to my office if you only want us to validate and you're not going to do anything about it afterwards. We're not the company for you if that's all you think that is going to be done to fix your problem. That's what I'm talking about. You lock in on one idea and you don't understand all the different alternatives and when I say alternatives, which are the solutions, the path of solutions that might be needed to fix your credit repair problem. So I talked to him a year ago. This guy calls me early morning yesterday. I answer the phone. Right away he said, I talked to you about this a year ago. And then I kind of understood his voice because he brought up that Section 609 again. And I was like, man, you've been internalizing those videos a little bit too much because you're focused in on one idea And now it's 1 year later, and you haven't done anything, have you? And he said no. And I said, you just wasted 1 year of your life, because you last when I talked to him last year, he was talking about opening a business and investing in real estate. And I said, have you been able to do any of that? He said no. I said, you wasted 1 full year of your life. And he agreed. And I was like, you need to do something about this, and you need to stop just locking in on one idea. And I'm I do the same thing with stuff. And what I do is, when I find myself doing it, I'll get out a sheet of paper and I'll write down the other alternatives, because there might be a different path of success, and you can't lock in on one. But what happens is people usually lock in on the easiest path. We're all that way. I'm no different than you. We're all that way. But what you have to do is, then you have to use your mind. And that's where I think what people are not doing, is that you have to think. There are several things that happen on a daily basis with employees for my company, with taxes, uh, uh, things at home, with my children, my grandchildren. All types of things happen throughout the day. And if I was to sit there and just think, be focused in on one idea, one solution, I would never get anything done. So what you have to do is, when you look at your situation, you have to understand where you're at. Write down all the different paths that you could take to solve that problem. Understand what the avenues of each of those solutions. And yes, you do start with the quickest one, because if that could get rid of what your problem the quickest way, then you do that. But then you need to have your, like having a plan B, C, D, A, B, C, D, and D, A, B, C, D, E. Damn, I'm early this morning on that. It's like having your plans written down, so you can know, if this one doesn't work, okay, let's try this one, let's try this one, let's try this one. And that'll keep your mind thinking instead of getting stuck, because what usually happens to people is, when one plan doesn't work, then they'll keep bumping their head, or they'll say it didn't work and they give up, or they'll keep bumping their head doing that same thing over and over and over again, and not getting the result that they want. But they're just thinking they're doing something, but they're not doing anything. So now, I hope that was some good information. I'm back in the saddle. Um, it's been a tough month or so. A lot of things had happened, but I'm back. I'm going to get back to my videos every Friday and giving you the content and the information that you need. Again, this is Stephen Williams, founder and president of the creditrepairshop.com. You go out there and you have a great day. Thank you.